Okay, today, lesson 20.5 is going to be about finding the tip. That is, if you go to a restaurant and you have a waiter or waitress, how much are you going to be paying them on top of the bill? So let's say your bill comes to $30. What we want to find out is we want to estimate 15%. That means for this first part of the lesson today, we are not going to be using our calculator. We're going to be using our brains to estimate. So we know that 15% is actually 10% and 5%. And the reason I'm going to split that up is because it's going to be a little bit easier to be able to recognize that. 10% is 0.1. That means I'm just going to move this decimal once. And so $3 is going to be our 10%. Half of that, so 5% is half of 10%. So half of that would be $1.50. So our 15% tip on a $30 meal bill would be $4.50. So we just estimated that. Let's go ahead and try another one. Let's say for number 2, I have $43. And again, I want to know what a 15% discount would be, or 15% tip, I'm sorry. So 10% and then 5%. 10% means I move the decimal that doesn't exist once, and that's going to be 4.30. Half of that, I didn't put the other half of the percentage symbol there. Half of 430 would be 215. I add those together and I get $6.45. $6.45 is going to be my 15% tip on a $43 bill. Let's try one more. Let's say for let's go ahead to number 5. I have $62.45. Now, I want to estimate this, but this is a little bit harder because I'm working with some funky numbers here. So what if I just took this as a $62 bill? Because with 45 cents there, it would stay at $62, okay? So I want to know how to estimate that. 10% and then 5%. This is going to give me our 15%. 10% of that, I'd move the decimal once, so I'd get $6.20. Half of that is going to be $3.10. I add it together, I get $9.30. And that is my estimated 15% tip on a bill that totals $62.45. Okay, so we have found 15% tip if you are estimating it. Let's say on the back side you're going to be asked for the algebra section to use proportions. So 15%, when we're working with 15%, remember percent means per 100. So this is how we would write 15 per 100. And we want to know what is 15%. What is 15% of 40? So that of 40 would go on the bottom. And again, I would cross multiply. So 15 times 40 is going to give me 600. So 600 is going to equal 100 times x, and then I would divide by 100, and that 15% of 40 is going to be $6. So what is 15% of 40? It'd be $6. And if we wanted to double check, again, we have that $40, the 10% would be 4, the 5% would be 2, and if I add those together, again, I would get that $6. So this is just a different way of finding the same thing, the 15%, using proportions. Now let's say you wanted to know what the total was. Remember, anytime we see that word total, we add it back. So if our 15% is 6 and we want to add it back to the original 40, our total would be $46. 46, we'd add the original price and the 15%. And that's your assignment.